So Dying Light was released today in the States, but I'm here to say that although Dying Light doesn't suck, it's definitely not worth $60. Now, this is a first impressions video. Obviously, I just got the game. I've probably played about, I would say like 4 hours, 5 hours, but I've played enough to know that this game does not live up to the hype at all.
If you remember a couple days ago, I made a video talking about Arthur Geese, Polygon, and the god-awful Doom gameplay that was up on Polygon's YouTube page. How can you if this person playing the game is the same person reviewing it, and they're playing this poorly, how can you trust their review if they obviously don't understand first-person mechanics?
So let's talk about one thing that bothers me a lot is the parkour elements. And maybe I'm an idiot, but the tutorial to me was pretty disjointed and it was a pain in the ass and it frustrated the hell out of me to learn how to do the moves, like to jump from building to building. There's many times, actually, I think you're going to see it here, that I would keep falling and I would keep falling again.
No, what we were concerned about is the fact that this person, if they're the one reviewing it, they obviously don't understand first-person shooter mechanics. How could they review it properly? Nice try, though, Garrett. Wow, that's really bad fucking gameplay. How can that person review the game?
Falling again, and I would follow what the directions were telling me. But one of the things I've noticed with the parkour and platforming elements in Dying Light is the fact that when you're supposed to look at where you want to jump to, and the player will put his hands out. But unless it's almost like you're exactly in the pixel range they want you in, which is very small, your character won't go there.
But you expect a certain level of competency, of gaming competency, to the person playing the game. If that person is not into first-person shooters or good at them, how can they talk about the mechanics of the game? How can they talk about the gameplay? How can they talk about the AI? How can they talk about physics, collision, hit detection, level design? How can they talk about all this if they're not familiar with the FPS genre?
Now, I'm not going to make it like the parkour elements are terrible in this game and the controls totally don't work. They're not bad, but there's more of a learning curve than there should be. And I think they could have been Techland could have streamlined all of the platforming elements a lot more.
Is that how could we trust, if this person who's playing the game is also reviewing it, how could we trust their review if you could obviously tell they're not familiar with first-person shooters? The person playing that game has no experience with first-person shooters. It was god-awful gameplay. And I've seen a lot of gameplay. And like I said in my initial Twitter video, I don't comment on it. But it was that bad that I even commented on it. So that's saying something.
So the bottom line is, I know especially people who live in the Northeast like I do, if you haven't picked up Dying Light yet, I would say wait for it to drop $20, wait for it to drop $30 because I'm sure it will. I don't think this game, and like I said, maybe my opinion will change, but I doubt it will. I don't think this game is worth $60. I kind of feel like I was duped. I feel like I should have waited till a Steam sale or maybe a sale where they had it on the Xbox One or PS4 for cheaper.
If the person is that bad at first-person shooters and they're that unfamiliar at playing them, how can they, because I don't know those games and I'm not good at them, so I couldn't review it. And that's the point that people are trying to make. This guy or girl, whoever it was playing the game, doesn't look like they're good at it, so how could they review it if they're possibly the reviewer for Polygon?
It just doesn't, it feels disjointed. Honestly, if you look at the game and you play it, it almost feels like it was made by an indie developer with a big budget. It doesn't feel as professional and polished as it should. And that was kind of disappointing too. You would think with all the mistakes that Techland made that they would finally learn their lesson, but I guess not. Wait till this game is like $29 or $35. Save your money. It's definitely not worth $60.
So Rich basically says that reviewers who are bad at the game they are reviewing aren't qualified to make judgment. I actually agree with this. How can you give a balanced opinion on a game if you suck at it? However, Rich is ignoring the fact that he gave a first impression review of Dying Light, and because he sucked at the game he told 122,000 people it's not worth $60. This is one of the most hypocritical things Rich has ever said. Rich clearly sucked at Dying Light, and yet he felt qualified to tell all those people it's not worth $60. I'm sure some people were put off the game by Rich's video. To be clear, I do not support Polygon in any way, but please, Rich, if you are going to criticize someone for something, please make sure you haven't done the exact thing you are criticizing. It makes you look beyond stupid.
Hey, you want to put your shit out there, people are going to have opinions on it. You don't like it too fucking bad.